What's up, guys? You're watching NorCal Daily Driven. My name's Salim. It's been a while since I've made a video. Sorry about that, guys. Actually, me and my wife had our first son, or kid in general, and we've been very busy. I've been super occupied with that and work and just trying to take care of everything. So, but I haven't not forgot about the ZR1. Obviously, I've been driving it when I can, just maybe not as much as I want to and going to events or whatever. But that comes with kids, and that's the whole territory, whatever. If you're a father or mother or whatever, you already know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I got some new upgrades for the ZR1. As far as the interior goes, I upgraded to a 2012 and 2013 interior parts. So that's the steering wheel, the shift boot, and the e-brake boot. I got the suede ones. I know not a lot of people like suede because if you touch it a lot or whatever, it gets dirty. But if you take care of it, it'll stay clean and it'll feel nice. That's one of the reasons I got it, because it kind of gives you that upgraded feel. It's like kind of like I don't know, a lot of the nicer, newer sports cars come with it. So I wanted to have that feel in this car, since the 2012 and 2013s did have that option. I went ahead and ordered that. So I got these from GM Parts Direct website. Let me show you here. So this is the shift boot. I got the blue stitching to go with the blue and the ZR1 logo. So this is the e-brake boot, and then, sorry for the mess, guys, my garage is insane. And then I got the suede stitched steering wheel. One of the biggest pet peeves I have with getting a steering wheel or a new steering wheel for the C6 Corvette body style is that if you want a nicer airbag from the factory, you can't really purchase, or you can purchase one from the 2012-2013 ZR1s, but it costs like $500 for a new airbag. And the reason I say I want a new airbag is because it comes with a new airbag emblem here that says ZR1. It's a really nice. So the name of that company is Rebadge Design, and you can find them on Instagram. Here's what the badge looks like. So you can see that's much nicer than what's in the car right now. I'll show you again what the one on the car looks like. It's very generic. All the Corvette models have them, so you get the idea. It's kind of like holographic. This one might actually have real carbon fiber weave under there. Yeah, it's actually a real carbon fiber material or fabric under this badge. I didn't even know that. Anyway, I paid $70 for this compared to $500 for a whole new airbag with that badge. So I think it was a good buy, but we'll find out once I install this. So that leads me to what I'm doing next. I'm basically removing the factory airbag, and then once you remove the factory airbag, you have to pull out the airbag itself, split it from the cover, so that you could get to the prongs that hold this emblem in. There's little metal prongs that go around the edge. You have to unbend the prongs so you could pop this one out, and then you could stick this one in there. I didn't want to just overlay it over the top of this, because obviously this has the emblem on this one has a raised flag on it, so it's not going to sit properly over this. I didn't want to do a half-assed job. Obviously, I'm spending the money to get a new badge. Why have it, peel off in a couple days if I can't stick it on correctly? So hopefully you guys stick around and see what this is going to look like, and if it's something you like for your ZR1 or for whatever other Corvette, right? They have a new Grand Sport logo. They have a new Z06 logo that didn't come on the older or the earlier generation C6s, right? So the later ones came with the 1213 Grand Sport, and Z06 came with new badges that say Z06, Grand Sport, ZR1. There's another one that's like the Centennial Edition. It's got the guy with the scarf and the goggles or whatever. I think he's like grandfather Corvette or something. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the e-brake boot, and then I'll go ahead and do the shift boot as well. So I just want to give you an idea of how this comes apart, because it's kind of tricky. So once you remove the airbag, this is basically set up like this. So this is the actual airbag cover. The airbag sits in there, and then this cage sits around it, and this cage basically hook and loops around this rubber cover. So I basically slid a screwdriver and pulled back every one of the little areas where the rubber hooks over the prongs. But first you have to remove these 4 8mm bolts. So we pull that off. Then the actual airbag pops out of here. probably should be a lot more careful. Okay, so that comes out of there. Now you have the cover. Those are the prongs I was talking about, so we're going to go ahead and peel those up so that we can get the badge out. But anyway, the airbag has two little connectors, so be careful when you pull that out. Obviously, I disconnected the battery first on the car so that I'm not risking my life and blowing the airbag in my face by messing anything up. So disconnect the airbag, waited a few minutes, let the capacitor or whatever drain out that powers the airbag. Then I went ahead and pulled the airbag out. Alright, so there's the center emblem. As you can see, it has these prongs. You just pry the prongs up forward and then slide your screwdriver under this to pull it out. I kind of slipped a couple times and scratched this, but don't need this anymore, no big deal. Just a test fit. This one fits in there nicely. It's got adhesive back, so I'm just going to peel the adhesive and put that in there. I'm going to need both my hands because I want to make sure I get this centered properly. So just to give you guys an idea, way better right here. Alright guys, so that's the finished product all put back together. Came out pretty nice. I'm going to give you guys the rundown on how I pulled apart the steering wheel. So I'll just set this on here for now. Basically, there's a hole on the side, if you can see that hole there, and one on the other side too, and you stick an Allen key in there, or what I did was I stuck a pick in there, and it releases these clips. Basically, it slides them over so that you can pull the airbag out. So once I pull the airbag out, this bolt sits in here. I didn't have my 21mm socket. I'm pretty sure it's a 21mm. So I kind of cheated and I used a 13/16 socket. So that comes off. Once that comes off, you undo this harness that's plugged into this clip here. So you slide the clip up so that you get access to the harness. Push the button, pull it out. These were the airbag connectors I showed you earlier. And then on the steering wheel, you just wiggle it side to side basically, and it pops straight out. So pretty simple, pretty easy, straightforward. I'm sure once you get to it or you see it, you'll know what to do. So that's that. Now we'll go ahead and pop the new one back. So here's the new steering wheel. Right away guys, this clip is clipped on the outside. They might just do that when they're shipping it or whatever. This needs to flip basically and sit on the inside like this, because that's how the factory one was sitting, or the one that I just pulled off of there. So you'll get a better idea of what I'm talking about once I put this together. Hold on real quick. So there we go, it clips in, slide it down, and it hooks on the inside there. These wires come out the top, or over that clip basically. And then, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's an arrow on the top of the steering wheel, and then there's a mark on the actual steering wheel shaft. So you want to line those two up to make sure it's straight. Obviously you want to have your wheel as straight as possible when you park the car to begin with. So once you get it lined up, basically there's the mark, there's the arrow, so it's marked up, and it'll only slide on that way I think, because there's a keyway basically at the top of the steering wheel shaft that's 2 teeth wide instead of 1 teeth, or a flat spot if you want to call it, and that's what it slides right over. So I just slid it over. I'm going to go ahead and put the nut back on. And I saw another YouTube video, he said that it's 21 pound-feet to tighten this. So go ahead and do it to 21 pound-feet. Alright guys, so I bolted it down. These two clips go back into place here. They're color coded so you don't mess them up. So after that, you just should just be able to lock this in. Just give it a good push, and I heard the locking pins lock in, and there you go guys. Super nice, major upgrade compared to the other steering wheel. I'll go ahead and grab the other steering wheel just so you can see it, but I mean, this is much better, right? I mean, everybody clowns the C6 because it says it looks like a Cobalt steering wheel, or basically is a Cobalt steering wheel, but this does not look like a Cobalt steering wheel. Okay guys, so for the shift boot, basically it has these prongs that hold it in there, and it sits under the lip there, so you have to pull back each corner and slide it out so that it sits over the console. And it's got looks like 5 of them, so it's kind of tight. So once you pull it out, it sits like this. Since I do have an aftermarket shifter, I have the current boot zip tied to this rubber grommet that molds it to the flat stick. But on the factory one, you're basically going to slide the boot down, and then there's a screw right here. You'll unscrew that, but in order to get that, there's a locking collar, right? So you turn the locking collar loose, slide it down, unscrew the screw, and then you'll be able to slide up the knob and the whole boot together. But mine, I'm just gonna cut this zip tie. I'll go ahead and pull off the grommet, and then I'll just put a new zip tie on it. So pretty simple, pretty clean. Alright guys, so that's that. I was able to use the little rubber band that comes with the original one and this chrome collar, and just use it on my rubber collar that comes with the MGW. Didn't have to zip tie it, so that was nice. And then you just basically slide it back down and then push it into the clips that go on the side here. So for the e-brake boot, guys, you just basically pull up on it. These little clips release themselves. There is a Phillips head screwdriver or screw that sits in there. In order to access that, I lifted this, slid my screwdriver in here, and then lowered it a little bit so that I could see what I was doing. And then now I think you just yank on it really hard. That's how I pulled off the other one. So let me check it out. Let's see if that's what it works. There we go, guys. I just used 2 hands and I pulled on it really hard and it just popped right off. So now we're gonna go ahead and put the new one on. One thing I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys about the new one, which is pretty annoying, is you can't just buy this piece unless I couldn't find it or the GM sales guy I don't know, was bullshitting me or whatever. I had to buy the whole e-brake assembly, which is this handle and then like half of a cable that comes with it, which I thought was pretty annoying. But I'm happy to say that now I could just pull the boot off and not have to deal with all the other mechanical parts to it. So I'll go ahead and grab the new boot and then slide it on, and we'll see how it looks. Alright guys, so I slid the new one on. It stops to basically where it won't go down any further. This button just slides in and it clips like that, and we'll go ahead and lock in the screw and put the rest of it back together. So yeah, so I got the shift boot, the e-brake boot, and now the steering wheel. So you know, the interior is a little bit better. Instead of that cheesy steering wheel that we had before, it feels a lot nicer. It gives the car a little updated feeling. Obviously all the steering wheel controls work the same. And we got our badge that we only paid $70 for, $75 for, compared to $500 for a whole new airbag. So hopefully you guys found that informative, and if you want to update your interior for all less than, I'd say, $500, it'd be a good upgrade. Because when I say $500, some people might, you know, freak out or whatever. $500, like, that's a lot of money. Well, you got to think about it. Some of the steering wheels on the market these days that come, you know, with like the suede and the carbon fiber and all that stuff, just the steering wheel alone is going to cost you $1,200. Then you got to get your airbag wrapped and, like, you know, to match the steering wheel and all that. I felt like this was a good upgrade for the budget that I had in mind. I didn't want to spend a ton of money on this stuff. This was like $220, I believe. This shift boot was somewhere around $60 or $50, and I think the e-brake one, since it came with all the mechanism and everything, was like $180. I know this was a little bit more expensive and more than I wanted to spend, but I didn't want this not to match everything else. So I kind of ponied up and spent the money on that. But again, like I said, everything is under $500, and that's a lot less than what you would be paying for if you're going to get one of those fancy carbon fiber steering wheels and you want to spend $1,200 or whatever. But I think that's going to be it for interior modifications. I think I might go ahead and get a new head unit just so that I have a backup camera. That helps out a lot. And obviously some better music in this thing. I don't have an iPod hookup or iPhone hookup, whatever you want to call it these days. The seats are another big gripe, but not sure if I want to cough up the coin for seats, because obviously that gets in the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range depending on what you want to get. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, sorry it's been so long that I've filmed the video. This might go up after one of the more recent videos that I'm going to put up regarding the exterior of the vehicle. I had some new things put on, and then I have an engine modification that I'm going to be doing. Not really a huge power mod or anything like that. It's more of like an efficiency thing. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Hopefully I can get that one up pretty soon too. So again, thanks again, guys, for hitting that play button. I appreciate it. If you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with the ZR1 modifications. And then, yeah, thanks for watching.